10 things that no one tells you about corporate life. So if you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Eva. Welcome to the Over 40 TV show. Here we share with you life skills, life principles that no one taught you, but are important for you, especially now that you are approaching 40. So if you're interested in learning those things about the corporate world that no one tells you, when to stick around. So in September 5, 2022, I woke up to the saddest day of my life. My mom went to sleep on the 4th of September, but she never woke up. Like, she literally slept and slept and slept and never woke up. She had passed on. That very morning, I was working as a project manager, and it was also the morning when the Supreme Court of Kenya was just yet to release the results of a contested presidential election that had been taken to the Supreme Court for judgment. So going on my daily activity, my plan of the day was to go and pick up cars that had been purchased for a project that I was managing. But since my mom had passed on, there was no time to go and do any handover, no time to do anything. So I simply texted my boss and I let him know that, hey, my mom is no more, so I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks. My apologies for any inconvenience and inconveniences caused. In case of anything, you can reach me on WhatsApp. And he texted me back and said, sorry for your loss. Take as much time as you need. So the previous evening, if you had told me that the next day I would simply just walk away from work without any handover notes, I would have said you're out of your mind. But believe you me, I went away for 3 weeks of, they call it what leave? I forget the name they call it, but for 3 weeks, I was away, and I can tell you not even one time did anybody call me to ask me, where is this, where is that? Maybe because I was a super organized project manager, but I think a lot of it was they kind of just figured out where to move on in my absence. But the greatest lesson I learned from this event of my life, the worst ever, was that every employee in the workplace is dispensable, including you who is watching me today. Everyone is replaceable, okay? For those of us who have been following Kenyan politics closely, about 2 weeks ago, we lost the Chief of Defense Forces in Kenya, Brigadier, or is it Major Ogolla? And I can tell you, he died in a plane crash in the northern part of Kenya. And before his body was even brought over to Nairobi by plane, he had been replaced. So there is no organization, no government that adheres to or subscribes to loyalty or any family workplace culture. That's not how they roll. You are a number to them, just like any other number. When hard times hit, you are a number. They're just gonna put you on a spreadsheet, attach some value or figures to you, and when layoffs happen, they're gonna happen, and they don't choose who. Yeah. So all they need is that when times are hard like they are now, that's the only proof they need to lay you off. Yeah. So don't you ever forget. Don't overthink it. Your family, your friends may never abandon you, but your employer, you're just a number. So that's the number one thing about corporate life that no one tells you. What is the number two thing about corporate life that no one tells you? Is that if you have anyone in your workspace that is doing better than you, they are not a threat to you. Take them as a mentor. And why is that so? Because when you start being envious and jealous, you're not gonna move far. You're just gonna destroy yourself. You're gonna destroy your career. And business is not like some sort of game or some sort of sport. We all win in the business together as a team. Yeah, and we are as strong as the weakest link. So if somebody has to lose for you to win, then just know that you're doing it all wrong. Yeah. So if there's anybody in your workplace that you think is doing better than you, learn from them. Okay. Don't look at them as a threat, but look at them as a mentor. Number 3 thing about the corporate life that no one tells you about, but you should know, it will save you a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, is that how well you network at the workplace will take you further than the skills that you have. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have, how many certificates you have, because your colleagues are equally qualified. So what is going to set you apart is the soft skills that you have. Those hard skills, people can literally buy them down on River Road. But the soft skills that you have, that is what is going to set you apart, yeah? So your network is where the opportunities are going to come from. If one of your people in your network moves to a better organization, they could poach you, yeah? And how approachable you are or how friendly you are could make a difference between when that layoff comes, whether you stay on or not, okay? Number 4 thing about corporate that no one tells you about, but it's going to save you a lot of heartache, is that if you don't create boundaries at the workplace, you're going to have a lot of trouble. Most corporate workers do whatever they're told. Like they're literally told to jump, they're going to ask how high. You need to set up boundaries. You need to learn to push back respectfully though, yeah? Make sure you have boundaries. Otherwise, you're going to end up with infinite amounts of workload and end up on prescription medication for high blood pressure and the whole lot of them. The key here is that make sure that you're hitting your KPIs so that when time comes for you to push back, it's not like you're asking for special treatment or you're asking to be considered better than other people. So make sure that you're already performing above average so that when the time to push back comes, it doesn't, it's not seen as you're just trying to be rude. Number 5 thing about the corporate world that no one tells you about is that you, as an employee, you were probably hired with a job description, but trust me, 99% of the time you will be required to do stuff that is outside of your job description. And this is the paradox of the point we have talked about, that you have to learn to set boundaries. Too many people are so hung up on the job description that they miss out on opportunities that are outside of their job description. But the greatest career breaks always come when you are operating outside of your job description. It is the opportunity for you to probably move to the next department, learn about the next department, network with people you haven't met before, find people from the different teams. And if let's say you're in sales, this is your opportunity to get that customer that has been elusive and everyone has been trying to get and not be able to get. So don't ever look at an opportunity to learn or to deliver as not your department or not your job, but it is an opportunity for you to actually join this new department or work in this new division or work in this new industry, okay? Number 7 thing about the corporate world that no one tells you about is that the secret to getting that pay rise is to move jobs, okay? Staying at a job for too long is the biggest corporate mistake that a lot of people make and no one talks about. Very soon, you're going to start getting bored about the job. You're going to get resentful about your bosses and your colleagues. And the opposite is true. By moving jobs, you stay sharp and keep growing in your career, okay? And it is also the opportunity for you to stop having that imposter syndrome and feel like you're really performing, because maybe every 2-3 years you go for this interview, you go and prove yourself. But when you're in the corporate, you're in the same job, other than the annual reviews, there's really nowhere else you're gonna prove yourself. And one to you, especially if you have a boss or a colleague that doesn't know the word thank you, you did well on this, I'm proud of you. Who is most of them, okay? So my advice is for you is change jobs every 2 to 3 years. Okay? 3 years at most. Go and try it, you'll be surprised. And it's also one way for you to know what exactly are you worth in the marketplace. Okay. Number 7 thing about the corporate world that no one tells you about. The biggest destroyer of most employees is mortgage and kids who are in school. Let me tell you, the moment you are unfortunate to have a bad boss and they know that you have a huge mortgage and you have kids in school, that's like the death of you. That means if you staff up at work, then they have leverage on you because they know you need that job and you cannot afford to be laid off, because how are you going to pay your mortgage? How are your kids going to go to school? And that's why I'll always encourage people in the corporate world, don't just rely on your corporate job as your only source of income. Try and get 2 to 3 more additional income streams, because hey, one is too close to zero. And especially if you have school-going kids and you have a mortgage, you're literally at the mercy of your employer, and especially if they know about it. Number 8 thing about the corporate world that no one tells you about, I've already touched on it a little bit, but switching employers offers you an instant pay rise. So you who's been there so sad that you only got a 2%, it's probably time for you to switch employers, you know? Because again, people who ask for pay rises don't usually get them. Why would an employer pay you more for the same job to do the same kind of work you've been doing for so much money? They know that you are scared to quit, you're scared of change, and you want to leave anyway. So why should they bother adding you more money? Business is about making money. That's what the capitalist world is all about. It's about profits. It's about shareholders, okay? As much as you may want to pretend, oh, this is a non-governmental, there's nothing like that. Bottom lines is what matters in the corporate world. So for a business to be able to maximize on its profits, they have to pay you the least possible amount, just enough to keep you and stop you from leaving them. So rather than start fighting the universe, just embrace this fact. And if you're hungry for a pay rise, if your current salary is not working for you, go for a new employer. And no, a new employer is incentivized to increase your salary as a way of convincing you to leave your current job and join them. And that's why it's easier getting a job when you have one, because the future employer has to work harder to make you leave your current employer. So use this incentive to your advantage. Number 8, I think, thing about the corporate world that no one tells you and could save you a lot of heartache is that being, and you guys, you know by now, I had to mention this, being a digital content creator or leveraging the digital world gives you a plan B for a new job whenever you will need it. So here we are talking about LinkedIn, we are talking about X, we are talking about Facebook, YouTube, we are talking about TikTok, Instagram, and all of them. So many people ignore these platforms. What I have learned is that if you show up on the internet every single day, share your thoughts, share your fears, share your passions about the industries that you are interested in or where you're working, it's going to help you to proactively attract new opportunities without even trying. So as you continue with your main job, identify 2 or 3 of these platforms and share your work there. Show up there as often as you can, at least 3 to 4 times every week. And this is how you're going to start attracting new opportunities, which could act as a plan B in case things go south with your current employer. And when you have multiple career opportunities, multiple income streams, it helps you not to give so much of a damn and be more ruthless when it comes to setting boundaries, okay? So the reason some of us are not able to set those boundaries is because that's all you have. And that's why, guys, I say 1 is too close to 0. Take advantage of these online platforms. Take advantage of digital content creation. Take advantage of the internet and find your space. Go and show up there, okay? This is what I call your 5 to 9. Find yourself a 5 to 9. Okay, you have your 9 to 5, find yourself a 5 to 9 because it's going to be your plan B should things go south. This one is really hard to swallow. Number 9, thing about the corporate world that no one tells you is that it's not always the hardest workers that get the best results, whether that is a promotion, whether that is the salary. It's not the ones who work the hardest. Usually, it's the ones who play the politics the best, okay? So it's not about burning the midnight oil, taking up all the work, having no boundaries, putting more effort than everybody else. Unfortunately, it's not all these hard workers who are also the smartest. So instead of learning better ways to work or understanding the incentives in the workplace and the benefits of networking, these people are busy raking in hours and hours, the hard workers, hours and hours and hours of endless work. So in this new world that we are in, just working hard is not enough, okay? You have to know how to work smart. You have to know how to play your politics, and this is especially if that job is all you have. You must know how to play your politics well. Corporate politics is a real thing. I will not speak more than that. Number 10, think about the corporate world that no one tells you about. Negotiate, 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 negotiate. So in my current role, I do a lot of recruiting. So trust me, I know when I talk about the importance of negotiating. Whether it is a job offer, whether it is working time, whatever it is, never say yes to the first offer, even though it is not going to be changed. At least you will have voiced your opinion. You would have shared what is in your mind. So, as we've said, your salary, to work, to hours, to the leader you work for, to how many days of holidays you get, to how many days of sick off you get. Negotiate, 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 okay? Always, always, always politely try to give a counter offer and keep going until you find a middle ground. Even if they say no, at least at the back of their mind, they know that she gave a counter offer. Just do it respectfully, do it politely. Most importantly, again, number 10, think about the corporate world that no one tells you about. Everyone at one point or another will get heaved off by a retrenchment or a layoff in their career. So don't you ever get comfortable, okay? It's very, very easy to become comfortable. You've spent 5 years, 6 years, 7 years at this organization until you even forget that this is not your mother's business, okay? You will wake up one day, and the hardest part about never thinking of the possibility of a layoff is that when it happens to you one day, and trust me, it will, after you get let go, you are gonna be so lost. It's like a death occurred. And trust you me, in such cases, it's like a part of you actually dies with that job because that job was your life. Okay, so you'll be so out of touch with the recruitment world and even not know how to do job interviews, not even know how to answer that basic question, tell me about yourself. So that's why I encourage you, even if you're happy at your current job, like I've said, 2 to 3 times, after every 2 to 3 years, change jobs, go for interviews, apply for jobs, so that you start knowing even what is your actual market rate. If you don't go for interviews and get offers, you'll never know what is your actual market rate, okay? So, and there's nothing personal about a layoff or a retrenchment. It's just part of the corporate game. When the economy becomes worse, it means there's not enough money flowing in. And remember, corporates are into business. So, like I said, you are a number on some piece of spreadsheet, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna list you on some spreadsheet, do some mathematics, and decide who's going home. It's got nothing to do with anything personal. And if it happened to Google, happened to Microsoft, happened to all these IT companies in the Silicon Valley, it can happen anywhere. And remember, when those retrenchments are coming, they don't look at your work history, they have zero personal attachment to you. So they're just gonna put you in the number, and that will be it. So my advice for you is that don't get so carried away by those job titles. Don't get carried away by the number of years you've spent in that position. Don't get so carried away by how much you're getting paid. Ask yourself, have I reached at the peak of my learning curve? Because that's what every job should do to you. It should be a learning experience. It should be something to catapult you to the next stage in your career. So ask yourself, have I learned the much? You know, it's like a sponge. It can only take in so much. Have you reached the end of the sucking in of the sponge? Have you learned enough that there is enough to catapult you to the next step in your career, such that you have upskilled yourself by getting into this job? Then you should now find your next step, okay? Choose jobs where there are opportunities for growth, opportunities for learning, and once the learning has been done, that's why I gave you 2 to 3 years, move to the next one, okay? Your resume, your CV, no one trusts this anymore. So always, if you get an interview, sell yourself. Take that opportunity to sell yourself, market yourself, because CVs, people can write anything on CVs. And if you can get social proof for your work, evidence for your work, for example, if there's an opportunity to write on the company's newsletter, write on the company's blog, company's website, please take up those opportunities. Remember, the one who writes determines the destiny of the organization, okay? Avoid complaining, always focus on offering solutions. If you find there's an issue somewhere, find ways of offering those solutions. And the beauty is that when you offer those solutions, they could work for you in this 9-to-5 job, but it could be an opportunity for a 5-to-9, okay? Number 11, thing about the corporate world that nobody tells you is that you need to be great at presentations. And here is why. If you master public speaking and are able to give impactful presentations to a group of people, then you already have an unfair advantage over the other person who might be so much smarter than you, but they can't speak in front of everybody. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the skills in the world, all the experiences in the world, but if you can't communicate it, you'll never be able to capitalize on it. So having an idea is one thing, but making it simple enough for other people to understand is something else. So master the principle of presenting complex things in a simple manner. You will go very far. And a great place to start is right here on YouTube. It's a free platform. Come and share, learn how to speak on the camera, learn how to speak publicly. It's gonna be a game changer, believe you me. It will help you at interviews. It helps you to calm the nerves. It helps you to be able to present situations. It gives you visibility. And when you get monetized, you get money, yeah? Who doesn't want more money? So guys, those are the few lessons I wanted to share with you. These ones, trust me, you'll not find in any book. So instead of waiting to go and experience those things in the corporate world, how about you start seeing how you can leverage them for your own good? So if you're not yet subscribed to Over 40 TV, please subscribe. Here we share tips, advices that you will not find in the books and those that nobody teaches you. I will see you on the next one. Bye.